Chapter 13. The Bunyan of Wales. Part 1. No doubt in God's mysterious purposes, the chapel difficulties of Anglesey were overruled so that thousands throughout Wales might hear the glorious gospel preached. Some, in more recent times, have almost patronizingly spoken of Christmas Evans's rugged, old-fashioned preaching. It was the whole counsel of God that he preached, especially emphasizing man's ruin through the fall, his liability to divine wrath, and the wonderful provision Christ has made for his people at Calvary. The doctrines he preached were those commonly called Calvinism, but which really are the doctrines of the New Testament. Preach the whole counsel of God, he wrote to a young minister, from predestination to glorification. Against the background of the many trials Christmas Evans had to endure, there was always the warm, loving reception he received at the great association meeting. Here he was both honored and loved. Admittedly, there was much excitement, but who can imagine the longing expectation of many poor simple villagers as they awaited the leading preacher, their wonderful and well-loved prophet? It is said that among his hearers at such meetings at times would be the renowned John Elias, with tearful eye and his whole form in motion. One of these occasions has been graphically described. So, along all the roads, there presses an untiring crowd, showing that something unusual is going on somewhere. The roads are all picturesque and lively with all sorts of people, on foot, on horseback, in old farm carts, and even in carriages, all wending their way to the largest and most central chapel of the neighborhood. It is the chief service. It is a Sabbath evening. The congregation is wedged together in the spacious house of God. It becomes almost insupportable, but the Welsh like it. The service has not commenced, and a cry is already raised that it had better be held in an adjoining field. But it is said this would be inconvenient. The doors, the windows are all thrown open, and so the time goes on, and the hour for the commencement of the service arrives. All eyes are strained as the door opens beneath the pulpit, and the minister of the congregation comes in and makes his way as well as he can for himself and his friend, the great preacher. There he is, that tall, commanding figure. That is he, the one-eyed man of Anglesey. Christmas Evans's preaching was undoubtedly quaint and unusual, and certainly it would be wrong for any to imitate it. He was an orator, but tended to preach at times in allegories. Witness his preaching on Satan walking in dry places. "There he is," said Satan. "His veins are full of blood, his bones are full of marrow. I will cast my sparks into his bosom and set all his passions on fire. I will lead him on, and he shall rob his master and lose his place, and find another, and rob again, and do worse. and he shall go on from worse to worse, and then his soul shall sink, never to rise again into the lake of fire. But just then, as he was about to dart a fiery temptation into the heart of the youth, the evil one heard him sing, "Guide me, O thou great Jehovah, pilgrim through this barren land. I am weak, but thou art mighty. Hold me by thy powerful hand. Strong deliverer, be thou still my strength and shield." "Oh, but this is a dry place," said the fiery dragon as he fled away. "But I saw him pass on," said the preacher, "hovering like a hawk or a vulture in the air, and casting about for a suitable place where he might nestle his black wings. When, at the edge of the moor, he came to a lovely valley, the hills rose round it. It was a beautiful, still, meadow-like spot, watered by a lovely stream, and there, beneath the eaves of a little cottage, he saw a girl, some 18 years of age, a flower among the flowers. She was knitting or sewing at the cottage door. Said Satan, "She will do for me. I will whisper the evil thought in her heart, and she shall turn it over and over again until she learns to love it. And then the evil thought shall be an evil deed. And then she shall be obliged to leave her village and go to the great town. And she shall live a life of evil, all astray from the paths of my almighty enemy. Oh, I will make her mine, and then by and by I will cast her over the precipices, and she shall sink into the furnace of divine wrath." And so he hastened to approach and dart into the mind of the maiden. But as he was approaching, all the hills and crags seemed to break out into singing as her sweet voice rose, high and clear, chanting out the words, "Jesus, love of my soul, let me to thy bosom fly, while the nearer waters roll, while the tempest still is high. Other refuge have I none, hangs my helpless soul on thee. Leave me not alone, still support and comfort me." "This is a very dry place too," said the dragon as he fled away. And so he passed from the valley among the hills, but with hot rage. "I will have a place to dwell in," he said. "I will somehow leap over the fences and the hedges of the purpose and covenant and grace of God. I do not seem to have succeeded with the young. I will try the old." For passing down the village street, he saw an old woman. She too was sitting at the door of her cot and spinning on her little wheel. "Ah," said Satan, "it will be good to lay hold of her grey hairs and make her taste of the lake that burneth with fire and brimstone." He descended on the eaves of the cot. But as he approached near, he heard the trembling, quavering voice of the aged woman murmuring to herself lowlily, "For the mountains shall depart, and the hills be removed, but my kindness shall not depart from thee, neither shall the covenant of my peace be removed, saith the Lord that hath mercy on thee." And the words hurt the evil one, as well as disappointed him. They wounded him as he fled away, saying, "Another dry place."